Hey YouTube, Alan back, and unfortunately, rather sad video today. I was going to do gameplay, but the news this morning was that the president of Nintendo, Satoru Iwata, has passed away. I was in complete shock when I read that. He was a young man. He was only 55, and he looked after himself. I knew he had been unwell last year. He had an operation, and it seemed that he was kind of on the road to recovery, so it was kind of out of the blue. Now, if you look at the more recent Nintendo Directs and his more recent public appearances, he had looked like, you know, he'd lost some weight, but literally, I'm kind of speechless here, and that's how I felt when I heard. As I said, I had planned to do gameplay, but instead I just thought I'd do a little bit, kind of, my personal thoughts on the man and how he represented Nintendo. Now, I know not everyone liked his leadership or liked the direction he took, but I think he did a hell of a lot of good. I also feel that regardless if he was taking Nintendo in the right direction, his heart was definitely in the right place. He really, really cared about video gaming, and he kind of grew up with it, and he had a passion and a belief that gaming could be for everyone. And if you look at any of his colleagues, people around, you know, in the industry, there's been a massive outpouring of shock and support and goodwill towards his family and you know, the reputation that he has. It is clear that among anyone that knew him, he was a tremendous gentleman and really was a pleasure to deal with. He managed to become CEO of a big company while still maintaining the kind of everybody touch. One of my favourite memories of him is from the 2005 Game Developer Conference. He spoke about how he kind of came to be where he is now and what, you know, development is like today. But he talked a bit about, you know, when he was young, when he was in college and going out of, you know, the school that he was in to join the smallest company out of anyone from his school, and that was HAL that he was joining as only the 5th employee. But he was just mad into, you know, technology and computers and programming and gaming in particular. But above all else, he said he got a calculator and he had to make a baseball game on it. He said you couldn't call the graphics out of date. There were no graphics, and you could. He just threw out, you know, that kind of infectious joy was there. And if we move forward, we see the work that he was involved in. You know, games like Balloon Fight, and he was involved, I believe, in the Kirby series. He certainly was involved in Mother. He helped out coding-wise in Smash Brothers. I don't even think he was assistant or, you know, credited in some of those. Again, another story that he'd only become president of Nintendo, but he still had to jump into the coding duties because he wanted to get Smash Brothers Melee out. He, you know, rolled up his sleeves and dug back in. And he says, "My business card says I'm, you know, a CEO. My brain says I'm a computer programmer, a computer scientist. But in my heart, I'm a gamer, and I want to enjoy. I want games to be fun." That was really where it all boiled down to. And we see that even in his more recent appearances, the Nintendo Direct. We see that kind of quirky humour that he brought to the table, and a self-deprecating aspect that you really don't see from top CEOs. I mean, how many other people are willing to, you know, speak directly to their fans and then have themselves turned into a Muppet, you know, caricature? It's a testament to the man that no matter what your opinion, everyone has nothing but good things to say about him. And I think he will be a loss to Nintendo. He had to lead them through some tough times when he took over in the GameCube era. He turned around to some tremendous success. Some tough times again, because the market is changing big time. But I believe that, given the resources, he would have steered Nintendo safely through troubled times. And I'm sure whoever succeeds him will continue that legacy and continue to kind of take a solid, that solid foundation. And also, one thing he tried to do was take the legacy of past Nintendo presidents, in particular, obviously, Hiroshi Yamauchi. He wanted to kind of take some of the legacy that he learned and pass it forward. It was kind of entertainment factor. I'm sure that spirit is not going to be lost with his passing. As tragic and as untimely as it is, it's in all the games we play over the last 10-15 years, and even more from HAL Laboratories, and it is going to stay in the kind of heart of Nintendo. So, in closing, a tragic loss, but Nintendo and the world at large were enriched for him having been in it. And I for one wish everyone at Nintendo the greatest sympathy for their loss, and in particular his family, because it's far too young to go, far too young, and they will be in everyone's thoughts. So take care, Mr. Iwata. We'll see you again someday soon, perhaps. Bye for now.